out of this class today? What are they looking for? How can I help you? Do what?
You want to be pro listing agent.
Yeah, I think everybody does. That's how you get your time back. I was spending some time with some agents this morning. They're saying, why do you want to be such a heavy listing agent? And the reason for that is you get your time back. You can work 50 listings opposed to maybe 4 or 5 buyers at a time. So it gives you that leverage. What I have in front of y'all here is a 10-step procedure that I've been using probably for somewhere in the ballpark of 4,000 appointments over my career, where I usually convert somewhere in the ballpark of 90% or higher on this. Y'all may have heard a lot of things in here. It's bits and pieces of things that I've gathered over time, but it's almost identical to the 10-step procedure that I go through once I set an appointment. I'm sure everybody in here knows how to set an appointment, regardless if it's a sphere of influence, a past client, repeat, referral, expired, FSBO. So we're not going to teach you how to set an appointment today. That's not what this class is necessarily about. But Stephanie and I are going to run through these different blocks, and I would hope y'all would take some notes. This is going to be an interactive class. I don't like to sit up here and preach to people for 45 minutes or 30 minutes. We have 30 minutes to do it. All right, this is what I started yesterday with the Hammond class, so I'd like you to repeat after me. We pre-qualify all appointments, regardless where they come from. All right, class, here we go. Pre-qualify all appointments, where they come from. Why would we pre-qualify all appointments, guys? Not wasting your time. That's a good reason. I had written down 3 reasons here, but I want to hear from the group. Why would you pre-qualify an appointment?
You got to be able to work that net sheet.
There you go. Know what their number is. What do you need to net from the sale of the property? What else y'all have out there? Let's hear from the crowd. Able to buy? Okay. If they're going to be able to buy after they sell. What else do we have out there? Being prepared, right. Wouldn't you all like the cheat sheet of what you're actually going to go and perform before you get into the property and do a listing presentation? So what I wrote here, let me get my glasses on now that I'm approaching 50. I got to wear glasses all the time. All right. What about their personality profile? What would play into that? If you knew their DISC profile by talking to them several times on the phone, how could you necessarily gear your presentation to be more effective? If you're presenting to a D, an I, an S, or a C, there's going to be a different way that you communicate with those people in order to get agreement. I put immediately, what's the most important thing you need to know? The opening line. What is your reason for selling? What's their motivation? Why do they have to move? On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about selling the house? 1, no urgency. 10, I wish the house was sold tomorrow at any price. So that's a conversation you're going to need to know. And what about the objections you're going to have to handle? If they want $500,000 for a house that's worth $400,000, that may be a difficult conversation. Maybe they're interviewing discount brokers in town. You better be equipped to deliver your value at a high enough level to get a 2.5%, 3.5% commission on the listing side. So being prepared before you walk in the door. You want to do a little script with me?
Sure.
So we'll do a little script. Let me get my pre-qualification script out. I still use a piece of paper like everybody else does. You don't have to have them all memorized. Ring, ring, Stephanie.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, Stephanie. This is Lewis Williams with Keller Williams Real Estate. Just want to double check that we're on for this afternoon at 2 o'clock. We still good?
Yep, we are good.
Let me ask you a quick question before we get started. Now, is your husband going to be able to be available for that meeting?
Yes, he will. He's coming out from work to meet with us.
Fantastic. I'm so excited about the opportunity to meet with you. Let me ask you a really critical question. If everything sounds good and you feel comfortable and confident I'm the right guy for the job, do you plan on listing the home with me?
Yes,
Great.
We've interviewed a few people, but you've been very prepared, so we're looking forward to meeting with you.
Sounds good. Well, I'll be there at 1 o'clock. Let's go run through a couple of questions so I'm better prepared. So at this point, I would go through this questionnaire with them line by line and have it sitting right in front of me. I'll be taking notes. So what was the importance of setting the stage for the first couple of sentences I gave to them? What did I hit that was really important? All decision makers are going to be there. Is there an indication that I have a high likelihood of selling the property if I don't put my foot in the mouth? You may be interviewing a couple other agents. I would find that out in my little pre-qualification questionnaire. I'm sure with Keller Williams, this is something that I've put together. Y'all are all welcome to this pre-qualification questionnaire. It's a conglomerate of several different things that I've gotten over time, but I know Keller Williams has a pre-questionnaire that you need to ask your customers before you go. Who in this office doesn't pre-qualify their appointments before they go? Does anybody not pre-qualify? Come on, let's be honest. I know a lot of people don't pre-qualify. Well, I've been doing this, it's more effective, so I'm better prepared when I'm walking through. We run through the sheet of paper, and then I would be able to walk through. I know what price they want, I know what objections I'm gonna need to handle. I'm gonna know their disc profile off of the conversation I'm having with them, so I know how to deliver my presentation. Is it gonna be short and sweet? It's gonna be about price and paperwork, or is it gonna be 30 or 45 minutes spending with them, telling them how important they are and how wonderful the house is if they're maybe a high eye and need to feel a little bit more important. So it's very important that you know what type of delivery you need to go when you walk in the door. What questions do we have about that before we go to the next spot? Because I'm gonna tell you what I bring on my presentation. All right, here's the sheets of stuff that I bring on my presentation. I bring my pre-qualification questionnaire. It's always very important to have this because that's what we review when we get there. We go back through that, which we'll get a little further along here. Has anybody ever heard of 47 steps to having your house sell quicker for more money? Or sort of a tip sheet? It'll give them some insights on what to do. My script, when I give it to them at the end of the presentation, which you'll find out why I do it at the end of the presentation a little bit later, is basically, you're not going to do all 47 things on this, Mr. Seller, but you may highlight 4 or 5 things before the photographer comes over. It's just going to jog your memory and decide some things that you need to do to make sure the house screams value when the photographer stops by to take pictures. Can you handle that? Can you look through this? Let's talk through it. And I run through it and we highlight a couple of things so the house is spot on before the photographer comes. I bring the old trusty net sheet. Why is the net sheet important to have? So they know what the heck they're getting from the sale of the property on the price we're selling the house for and the commission that we've negotiated. So it gives them a ballpark of some expectations. All right, next thing. Now this is sort of getting to the numbers side of things. If it's ever been in the MLS, I pull up the old MLS sheet. You got to have this stuff so you're properly equipped to have these conversations. The most important conversation you have during this presentation, it's not about the value you bring, not about all the marketing that you do, not how you stage the home. It's how you interpret the market and strategically price the home appropriately so your house is one of the next homes sold, pending the condition, pending the marketing I do. So it's price first, preparation second, marketing and promotion third. Y'all follow all that? I pull the taxes. Why would I pull the taxes, guys? What's important about the taxes? Come on, somebody talk up.
To make sure they own it.
Make sure they own the house. What else does the tax records give us? Some sales history, what they owe on the house, are they current on the mortgage? It also gives you a couple boxes, if you've ever looked at it, on ideas of value. So you get an idea of a ballpark to start using your research. It's not always 100% accurate, but it at least gives you a range. Like, for example, the property that we're going to be listing today here shortly is priced somewhere between about $350,000 and $400,000. So I'm trying to gather data, so again, I'm better prepared. That's all in the MLS. All in the MLS at the top of the bracket.
No, there's just a
Not the
tax.
tax
Yeah.
assessors, right? It's actually different range than RPR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they give you 3 or 4 different computer-generated numbers.
And they tell you the confidence level.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It gives you a lot of good information so you're better prepared for the meeting that the seller may or may not even know. I always print out the old survey. You do that right in the MLS, you know, the survey, so you can get an idea, especially if you're dealing with land or whatnot. Flood zone. How important is the flood zone in the state of Louisiana? If it's in an A or B flood zone, I ask them if they have flood insurance. I ask them, do they have a deck page? Can they send me the deck page? Don't let it lapse. Why it's listed, go right ahead.
I want to say that every piece of property in Louisiana is in a flood
Yeah,
zone.
Don't say it's no flood zone.
yeah. It's the preferred. There you go. That's a good one.
So don't
Or
say
doesn't
it's not.
require insurance.
Yeah.
No. Lender doesn't
Yeah.
require.
But
Right.
no flood zone is a lie. The entire earth is in a flood zone. I'm sorry, that's my
Okay,
soapbox.
there you go. Get off of it. We're good. We're there. I would recommend pulling a website that somebody's very familiar with. I used to pull Zillow. Now I'm a part of Briveting. We have something called the market report in there, and it gives me multiple websites that pull general values. Don't think your seller hasn't gone to some of these websites to see what their home's worth. This particular house says it's worth about $450,000. Do y'all understand what I'm saying about there? And I show them this. I show them, well, this is what my system's saying. It's a computer-generated number, but now we're going to dive into the real numbers here that a human being is going to evaluate the property. Go right. Y'all good with that?
I like
All
that
right.
you're acknowledging people are snooping around.
Oh, they know their stuff.
Yeah.
We're not trying to sell value. It's not your typical sales industry. You're information selling and helping sellers and buyers interpret all the information overload they have. That's what we do as realtors. We're information selling. We're giving them facts and making sure the facts they have are actually the most valuable to help them make a good self-discover, a good decision for themselves. Yeah, change the whole dynamics of the way real estate's sold. So if you can't talk these numbers and deliver this information at a high level, you're going to struggle in real estate. If you can't price a house out and get people in agreement on how important the pricing strategy is, houses are going to sit there and not sell for you, despite how many people you get in front of. So the next thing, this office provides a fantastic bit of information. Every Monday, I think it goes out to you. This is the old total market overview. Does everyone have they been to the class that's provided? Go ahead. What do you have back here? Yeah, I use it for every buyer and seller we work with. Oh, it used to be the total market over. It's a real market reports. It's emailed out to everybody in the office on a weekly basis.
Every Monday.
We'll go through that when we're talking about pricing here. The next thing that's really important, if pricing is important, you better know how to put a CMA together and price out a house. Has everybody been to the CMA class that I'm sure they offer in the office at least once a quarter, if not once a month? So this is very important. Now, pricing out a house isn't rocket science. There is a little give and take, just like an appraiser would do, but you need to know generally the range that the house should be listed at to let your, the marketing be effective and us to find a buyer. So again, I can't express the importance of that. All right, that's my stuff. Does anybody add anything? One last thing I do bring. We have this old seller guide that we bring. Everybody probably has a pre-listing guide or some type of information that's sent out before they arrive.
One on command.
Yep, there's one in command.
And we
Somebody
also
mentioned
have-
something about that you could.
We also have a listing presentation, a buyer presentation that I created in Canva. You all have access to it. You can all peel parts out to use as pre-listing, and you can brand it to yourself in Canva. I'll show you the link later. It's also on allthingsmc94.com, and you just click on it and you can open in Canva and have your way with it.
Very cool. So we all have access to that. You just have to go in there and work it. What do you got?
What you just held up, was that?
That's part of our company, Place. It's specific to our company, but it does feather in most of what all of them have to offer. You just need to customize it to yourself. We've customized ours to our team. All right, I've done the pre-qualification conversation. We've gone through the questionnaire. Next thing, do you mind taking a few moments, Stephanie? I'm going to shoot you out a quick email. Take a few minutes, take a look at our seller experience guide. I'm going to send it to your email address. Can you do that for me so you're better prepared? It may stimulate some questions you might have for me before I arrive. There's also a really cool video in there. I know we've just talked over the phone the last couple of times, but that video will introduce myself to you and tell you how our team works, as well at the very end. A lot of people like to go back and look at all of our reviews online. We have over 200 reviews of raving fans out there, and I want to make sure you take a look at that so everybody's on purpose when we arrive at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Sound good?
Yep.
That's my script. Email goes out. I would highly encourage to sell yourself before you arrive. When you get there, the appointment is no longer about you, and it's everything about the other client. Questions, concerns, solutions, digging deep into their wants, needs, and goals, okay? You want to be sold before you walk in the door. Nobody wants to hear them tote their flag all over the place about all these things you're going to do for them. What they want to know, are you going to sell the house, are you going to get results for them, and are you going to fulfill their goals and move into Houston in the next 90 days, whatever that looks like. Fire away.
Sorry, is your pre-listing guide part of that email, or are you
Yes.
delivering that?
No, the email goes out, the reviews on Google and Zillow and all the people that rave about us, and what's the other one that goes out, Nicole? A video. There's a short video of me doing a little introduction to what it looks like to work with a team, track record in the area. I don't want to go into the house and brag about myself anymore. I want to brag before I get in the door to assure the appointment. So again, it transfers from me to them. Their wants, their needs, their concerns. Getting into rapport with them, because that's what's really important at the end of the day. If they have specific questions about it when I arrive, which most of the time they don't, I would go into and dive a little bit deeper. Okay? What do you have? Yeah, it's a little bit old and dated. I have to actually update it. It was when we were 16 or 17, so it's time to update it actually. I've gotten older, I've gotten grayer, and our numbers have changed. But the message is just still the same.
I would like to see like an example of the email that you have that goes out.
I will be happy to provide that to you. Just let me know, okay?
I'll let you know.
But remind me, there's a lot of stuff flying at me. He saw me working this morning. We're doing a deal, calling expireds, calling FISBOs, text messaging back somebody.
Louis, you asked if there's anything else that anybody
Yeah, what else do you use that would be
I actually-
effective?
If there is an old listing from when they purchased the house, not prior to, but from when they purchased the house, and it has any attachments in there that could be helpful, like updates
Yeah.
or disclosures, I
Yeah.
bring that with me.
So they're
And I mark the
stimulated,
old disclosure,
yeah.
And I say, look, if there's anything important in here, you do need
Yeah,
to
move it
disclose
over,
it.
yeah.
So that's just.
Yeah, just again, making sure they're given proper information, not putting themselves in any harm's way. Go ahead.
I used to go to the clerk's office and print the deed.
Oh, yeah, you could do all that. You can call a title company and do that. You could go there yourself. There's a,
I used to do it myself,
yeah.
just so that I know they own the property.
Yeah, right.
Well, every
And who
time,
needs to sign?
but
Yes.
every title company we have,
You make a
we'll
quick
do it
phone
for
call.
free.
Jared, I know we go to Jared. He
Yeah.
sends it right over. I know
Every
all
one of
these
them.
great title companies will
Yeah.
do it. All right. Do I have to go to the door and knock on it, or can we
No, you
pretend
can
we're
sit
sitting
here.
here? All right. The opening line. I knock on the door. Open it up.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing, Stephanie? It's 1:00, and we had an appointment at 1:00. Can I come on in your house?
Absolutely.
You know this is a really big decision you and your family are going to be making this afternoon to list with me. Can we go ahead and set my stuff down over at the kitchen table?
Sure.
That's my opening line. It's been my opening line for 15 years. I still use it. I was
Did you
taught
hear
it.
Did you hear?
You want to hear it
Hear
again?
the line. Listen.
All right. Knock, knock.
Hi.
Hey, Stephanie, it's Lewis Williams. It's 1:00, and I'm here at 1:00. Can I come on in the house?
Yes.
You know this is a really big decision you and your family are going to be making this evening to list the home with me. Do you mind if I set my stuff down over at the kitchen table?
Not at all.
Why would I do that? Why is that the script? What's the science behind what I just said?
You're telling me that there's.
I'm prompt. I'm on time. What else did I do? Did I assume the sale? Did I tell them you're going to be listing this house after you meet with me this afternoon?
It's a really big decision you're going to make today.
And I'm glad I have the opportunity to talk about it
Yep.
before you get wrapped up with the wrong person. But good news, I'm here. And we sit down and we talk about it. Cool?
Cool.
So write that in your little notes there. I know it's cheesy and it's canned. Sometimes they laugh about it. Sometimes they're serious about it. You never know what you're going to get on the other side of the door, but that's the script I use. I'm prompt. We're listing the house. Let's get to work. And I'm bold. You've heard it. It's a bold script. A lot of this is different things that I've learned over time. A majority of it's actually a bold script that I learned. I've taken bold 15 or 16 consecutive times. I was trained by Diana Kokoska. She's sort of been my hero and my mentor, other than these women in the office that have been here for a long time that own this office. So they are who shaped and molded me over the years that I've been here. Okay, the opening script, you got it. Now, touring the house. What is touring the house for? After I put my stuff down, one more question. Why would I put my stuff down at the kitchen table? Yeah, I've anchored the area. What else happens at kitchen tables and dining room tables, typically in families? Big decisions are made. I told her, it's a big decision you're going to be doing tonight. Let's go over there to the kitchen table, set it down. We're going to anchor our spot. Now we're going to take a walk around the house. Okay? So that's why I do it. Everything has a science behind it on getting yes, yes, yes. Where do I sign? Yes, yes, yes. What price should I ask for the house? Everything's lead, 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 close. Lead, 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 close. Okay? All right, touring the house. Who wants to give me a reason for touring the house? Who has a reason that they want to tour the house with the customer? There's two schools of thought. Some people do tour, some people don't tour and tour by themselves. Does anyone in here tour by themselves? Okay,
You wanna let the seller
Yeah.
tell you things about the house.
cool, yeah.
There was really good logic yesterday that you might tour the house and say, if it's all right, I'm going to tour the house on my own so I can
Mhm.
look through it through the eyes of a buyer.
Yeah,
Right.
that's an old bold script.
They
Right.
are in the
Yeah,
business.
Right.
correct. That's what you go back to, their disc assessment. If they're an I, you're going around with them. If they're an S and C, you're probably going around. If they're a D, hey, run around, talk about price, where did I sign the contract? So it's sort of, you have to know your people and who you're working with. I personally, 95% of the time, do tour the house with the customer. One thing, I'm a former athlete, I'm 250 pounds, I'm 6'5", I'm covered in tattoos, and if they don't know me, I need an opportunity to build rapport with them. The first thing they'll, God, you're so tall. Wow, you're so big. And if it's only I'm meeting with a female, I definitely have to make sure they're warm and comforted and make sure that I'm a big teddy bear and not this grouchy old motorcycle rider, you know? So I do, even if I know the customer, even if I have a really good relationship with a customer, typically 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, I am going to tour with it. But if I didn't, say I'd sold several houses for this guy, and or somebody, and I have a really good level of rapport with them, they're going to list it with me no matter what. Let me run through the house real quick. Just sit here. I'll be right back. Here's the disclosures. Go ahead and fill those out. Okay, because I know it's going to close in 15 minutes. I'm in and out of the house in that situation. It depends on the customer, the disc profile, and your
Honestly,
level.
I never thought of doing it alone until Will said that yesterday. That was Will Frederick that does that.
That's a bold.
And so does Jordan does that
Yeah,
sometimes.
so I never even crossed my mind.
Yeah, but I do typically. Yeah,
Right.
they're spilling their guts. They're giving you ammunition. You're getting all the information you need from them to connect with them first. Let me ask this though. Let me get my glasses back because I took them
Don't say
off.
anything about
Okay,
being old.
I know.
Man,
Creating rapport and asking questions. Is it for picking the house apart and starting to stage the property on the front end of the appointment? Why not? Why wouldn't you just start going right into staging the home?
stinks.
Because they haven't signed the listing agreement yet. If you go to the back of my end down there, what's number 10? The very last one down there. Why do you think I would have prepping the house, telling them the house looks like a rat's nest and smells like dog? Why would I wait to that point? I want a paperwork sign. I want a price that I think I can sell it for in the current condition, and then we'll work through it and go through the house. I'll give them the 47 tips. We'll talk about bringing Morgan in to help stage if we need to, and we'll give them additional value there. But I am not going to talk negatively about the house whatsoever unless they bring it up to me. Does the house smell like dog? Well, you hired me to tell you the truth. I know you want an agent to tell you the truth. Yeah, it does smell a bit. We might want to tamper that down. But only when they say something to me. I'm not going to just open up and say, whoa, dude, there's cats all over the place. Get this fur picked up, or yeah, you've been smoking in the back somewhere, So be very cautious on your tour.
You're gonna win the deal.
No, you're not going to get them into rapport to where they're going to sign anything in that case. All right, so touring the house, creating rapport, don't pick it apart, don't give anything back to them unless they put it out there on the table first. All right, we have made it back to the table. Here's another script for you. All right, we're back at the table. Stephanie, I'm really excited about talking about this house. It's a beautiful home. I'm unbelievably excited about getting this home listed for you. There's only 3 goals for this afternoon's meeting. I want to review your motivation to sell the house. We're going to talk about these market dynamics so we can strategically price the home appropriately to be one of the next ones sold. I'll take a few minutes. I'm going to answer any questions you may have about what I sent over to you or just general real estate questions that you want answered. And then we're going to decide tonight if I'm the right guy for the job. Are you comfortable with that?
Yep.
Okay.
You need to ask for the water.
Oh, I'll pull it back a sec. You know about the water check. That's my 3 goals for the meeting. When we get back to the table, we'll back it up. We're back at the table, set my stuff down. We've toured the house. Everything's great. If there's 2 people there, I always ask, do you mind getting me a glass of water? Why do you think I would do that? What's important to asking about who goes and gets the water, who sits at the table? What am I looking for? What are the cues I'm looking for? Where's the decision maker go? Probably sits down with me at the table and keeps cutting up with me. It could be a female, it could be a male. I've seen both avenues with that. Now, especially in today's world. It's not always the guy that sits there. Sometimes the female sits there, or however it works out. But let me take this stance too. You don't want to overload just the decision maker. You want to make sure it's like a 60-40 type split, not much more than that. You need to include the other person because they have to be on board, because 9 times out of 10, they still have a lot of say-so in the decision maker, but I want to know who's the decision maker, who's going to get me water, okay? That's sort of a little trick of the trade that I've used over time. It usually indicates my presentation style. All right, we got the 3 goals, review the motivation, talk about pricing, and then we're going to answer questions. That's number 2. And number 3, actually 4, but number 3 is actually deciding to list with me. So that's the opening line. That sort of opens your leeway to everything you're going to go over. So at that point, after they're shaking their head and they're all excited and ready to go, there's 3 critical questions we have for you, Stephanie. Number 1, do you really need to sell the house?
Yes.
Number 2, are you willing to price it right off of the information I provide?
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah, we're going to look
dig
through
into
that,
for
and then
sure.
as long as we're
Yeah.
priced right, it'll work. And do you want me to handle the sale of the property for you?
Absolutely.
Okay. What did I do? Did anybody see any of the gestures I just made when I'm talking to them? Number 1, sell this house. Number 2, you're going to price it right. Peace, you're going to listen to what I have to say and do what I say. Number 3, you're going to pick me because I'm A-okay. Okay? I don't do that every time. It depends on the level of comfortability I have with them. But 1, sell this house. Like when you tell your kids, go clean your room. Sell this house, price it right, list with me. Okay. I'm telling y'all all my magic secrets. Okay, here we go.
Well, you want them in gold.
I learned it. Everybody has access to them. You just have to master them and deliver them properly. All right, pre-qualifying the appointment. You whip out your old pre-qualification script. First thing we're going to do, we're going to review their motivation to sell the house. So you pull back out your pre-qualification script that you already have notes on, because why, team? We blank every appointment. We pre-qualify every appointment, so we're better prepared and we have the cheat sheet. So you pull the cheat sheet back out. All right, I had an opportunity to talk to you, Stephanie. You said you need to be in Houston the next 90 days. Your husband's now here. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. What happens sometimes with husbands and wives? What's the communication level you think's very high and it's not necessarily the truth? So you literally dig back through the pre-qualification script a second time. So we make sure everybody's on the same page, everybody's voice is heard, and you understand what their goals are. So I'll just run through some of these questions. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're pretty redundant. But it gives you an opportunity. Here at Keller Williams, in the old days, they used to talk about go 3 deep on all questions. Remember that, Linda, when we talked about going 3 deep? What's important to you about that? What will that do for you and your family? What's that large yard really looks like? You know, what's that price going to do? What do you need to net? So you just keep digging through it. So why are you moving? Just give me a reason.
My husband got a new job.
Got a new job. Where y'all heading to?
Houston.
Okay, how soon do you need to start that job?
He told me 90 days, but I think it's actually 45.
45. Well, it sounds like time's pretty important
Yeah,
to you.
it is.
Okay. Well, we'll get on this right away and get it listed for you. Tell me what type of career is he working in?
Construction.
Okay. So if he's going to start a job in 45 days, what would happen if you ended up staying here if the house hadn't sold? Do you plan on staying? Are y'all picking up, packing up, leaving, vacant house for me?
We haven't really talked about that, but I would assume I'll stay behind for sure.
Okay, so can you see how I'm just having a little bit of dialogue with her, asking her questions, giving her solutions, giving her ideas? I'll run through some more of these. How soon is she had to be there in 45 days? There's a question on here. Is a corporate relocation involved? Have you ever thought about for sale by owner? These are, again, the pre-qualification conversations I've had. Here's this one on a scale of 1 to 10. 1, no urgency. 10, the house had to be sold yesterday. And I want to be at this new job in 45 days or less. How important is it? 1, no urgency. 10, I wish it was sold tomorrow.
10 really, and I wish we'd done it sooner, but you know, he's a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, 10 at any price or 10 at fair market value? Because I'll buy it at any price now.
We gotta go.
Okay, so we have to go, so we have to price it correctly and get it to move here in 45 days or less for you. So we need to be sold in 45 days or closed? Sold and closed.
Sooner, you know, I mean, I know that things are slower, but the sooner the better. That's
Okay,
the best thing.
understandable. Okay, well, we'll dive into pricing strategies to get you there as soon as possible. Some of the other questions, I actually write on here what type of disc profile they are. Now, I don't ask them what type of disc profile you are, but when I'm talking to them on the phone after I've had dialogue with them, setting the appointment, doing the pre-qualification, I already have an indication of what they are. But I actually, once I get face-to-face with them, then I know who they truly are, and I write that down.
And I'm sidebar, if you don't know what disc means,
You need to take a
or
class.
what you do, then you need to reach out to one of us and we'll let you know because it's a deep thing, but you need to understand it. The other thing I wanted to say, because I put it down in this section yesterday, was the thing that you said, which got me, and I've heard it before, but fantastic. Prescription.
Oh, that's coming up, yeah.
Yeah.
Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. We've all heard that. My hero, Diana Kokoska, used to break that, and that like blew me back. A doctor prescribes. They go in there, they find the problem, they ask questions, they dig deep, and then they can give you a diagnosis. If you go in there blind and not know anything about their goals, wants, and needs, how in the heck can you get a 5-star review and referrals from them in the future? You have to connect with them on that level, which is a stretch for me, right, Nicole? Don't I have to really dig deep and be more of an opener and not so much of a closer? So I really am still working on cultivating that and growing into someone that connects more on the rapport building, that connects more on the understanding and having more compassion and not just so results driven. So we found out recently, Nicole and I have been doing this personality. She likes these, she's a disc queen, but she loves this personality profile where there's openers and closers. And Nicole is a 99% opener. She connects really well. And then I'm a 99% closer. So that doesn't tell me anything other than I need to work in a certain different area because every customer is a little bit different. I have to connect with them at a point or not. So it's just, and don't be scared. You hear these disc things. What do they say all the time, Nick?
Nicole's gonna teach it.
Oh, you are? When? Really?
I just asked her.
She just
She's actually certified in everything by the disc guy. She took the test and everything.
sounds like a plan.
I forgot where I was going on that.
Open
It's all
closer,
right.
it's all right.
Open, closer, disc profile. We'll just keep going along. Yeah.
Are you doing this as
Have you
Yes,
done this? I'm
yes.
going back through it.
Now, I don't ask every single question on this. I've been doing this long enough to know the high points. I need to know what price you want. I need to know where you're going to move. I can feel people out pretty quickly where I don't have to really dig into this, but when I get in front of them, we're going to dig into it. Because that's more opportunity for me to open and build rapport and get on the same page with their goals and know that I'm committed, 100% committed to whatever their goals, wants, and needs are, and I'm going to find a solution to get them there.
So some of
Okay?
this is kind of repeating.
Yes.
So you said on the phone, blah, blah,
And
blah.
another reason, 9 times out of 10, there's 2 people in front of me this time. The first time I might have just talked to Stephanie. Now her husband's sitting there. Let's make sure everybody's on the same page because I know firsthand, Nicole and I work together and we don't communicate the way we should sometimes. So it's important to make sure everybody's on the same page and is heard. There's a section about financials. What do you think the house is worth? Your wife said about $400,000. Do you thinking somewhere close to that, Mr. Stephanie? I don't know. I forgot your husband's name, but
It's Mr. Stephanie now.
okay. It goes into what they owe on the house. What do you owe on the mortgage? Get an idea of what your mortgage is owed. And here's something else. If you can find out what someone's comfortable netting or putting in their pocket, then you have the key. The key's been opened up. There's no more worrying about commissions. There's no more worrying about this or that. Now you can negotiate a strategic pricing strategy to get what you deserve, the value you earned during the transaction, and what they need to move forward with their plans. So if they can disclose it, they're not all going to disclose that. I still ask it. Have y'all even thought about what you really need to put in your pocket here? Let's sort of run these numbers to see how feasible this really is. That gets them thinking. Opens up their mouth. Their mouth starts spilling their guts, and then I get some of that insight. And that'll help you negotiate your commissions if you can know numbers and negotiate with them properly with a 2.5 or 3 or 3.5, whatever you charge type deal. And then the most important part of the conversation after we go through their financials is this. I always write in how they heard about my team. Was it expired, FSBO, internet lead, past client, referral, repeat? I write that in. Why would I do that, team? We're all running what? Who said this? Businesses, right? So you want to know where your business is coming from so you can attack those 3, 4, 5 rocks every day to continue a pipeline of business coming for you. So we track everything in our system. And you need to know that over time if you want to have any aspirations of scaling your business at all. What are the 3 things that you're expecting from your realtor? Do I need to hurry? That's
No,
why I'm talking
what I was
fast.
gonna say
Mhm.
is that, is anybody getting value from this? Right? So we're gonna go over time because I don't wanna rush Lewis because he gave us his time yesterday and today. And I think that, I mean,
All right,
you
I'll do
have
it. Yeah.
a lot of listings. It's
Yeah.
not like he has 5 listings, y'all.
Mhm.
So we're gonna keep going and then we'll go a little over, we'll buzz through the rest of it. But do we have your permission to do that?
I'll hustle. I'll hustle.
Don't
Oh,
hustle,
wow.
go.
Okay. 3 questions. What are the 3 things that you're expecting from your realtor? Tell me 3 things that are really important that I can win with you. So when
I wanna know what's happening all the time. I don't understand the process, so
Okay.
I'd like to know what the steps are.
Okay.
I've had friends who had agents that never did an open house or never told them what was happening,
Okay.
and I'd really like you to market it.
Yeah.
Because I have friends who their stuff they can't even find their listings anywhere.
So I'm writing this down. Communication, you hear that over and over. Help me price the house. How do you market homes? So open houses, communication, and how the heck we market properties.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll let you know that we do all the fundamentals very well with the Dominion Group. We built our business off of a prospecting-based and marketing-enhanced organization. What that means is we use all the bells and whistles to have your property out there screaming value, online, social media, all the things that cause people to contact us, but we do one step further. We actually go back when these people contact us and proactively prospect on a daily basis. And it's no wonder we sell a couple hundred houses a year because we're actually doing the activity and not just placing a sign in the yard, putting it in the MLS and praying someone else sells it. We are proactive prospecting for buyers every day in your marketplace. Can you see how that would be effective for you and how our marketing just really knocks it out of the ballpark?
Yes.
And as far as open houses, my agents on the team, that's one of their big rocks. We'll be holding open houses all over the local area,
Awesome.
maybe even your house. But the good news is, regardless if they buy your house or another house, we're, again, proactively looking for buyers in the marketplace, driving more foot traffic to your area. You had mentioned something about communication. Are you good with text messages, emails, and phone calls?
I like text the best.
Cool. Well, we'll text message you. Good news, once I list the property, once a week you'll hear from me.
Awesome.
I won't always call you unless we need to talk. Obviously, we have an offer in or something that we need to address on some feedback. You'll hear from me. Even when we don't have anything to hear from you, I say, hey, we don't have anything to hear from you the week, and you get a little text message from you. You feel good about that?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. That's what I do. Just go back and reiterate the things that are concerns for them, driving home the point that I'm the right guy for the job. This is their part. Remember when I asked motivation, answer some questions. We're going to talk about your motivation. We're going to talk about price. We're going to answer some questions for you. At this point in the presentation, what are 3 things? I always want to lock them down in a parameter, not to give me 50 things. What are 3 things that we need to discuss to make sure you're comfortable and confident I'm the right man for the job? What do we need to cover before we get into this pricing conversation, ma'am?
Nothing I can think of, the price is obviously the thing that's gonna help us get this house sold, so
Cool.
I'd like to know what
Yeah.
we've been poking around on estimates and stuff,
Yeah.
but people tell me that's not something.
Cool. Well, we'll dive into that right now. That is typically what I get. They don't ask me to go through my brochure. They don't ask me to go any further. Typically, I've sold myself before I got to the door. They know the track record in the area, but you still need to be equipped to pull your tool belt out and know what's in your pre-listing packet, know what you need to do, and it's usually only 1 or 2 questions, and I can answer it smooth right there with her, depending on the question she delivers. You have to know all the information, you just don't have to talk about all the information every time you go. Y'all follow? All right, let's dive in. Where are we at now? Review your motivation.
Pricing.
Okay, pricing conversation. This is fun. Okay, we'll do this. What do you think I bring? We already talked about it. What do I cover first when I'm talking about pricing? Does anybody know what you start first? Do you start on a macro view or a micro view of the house? Probably a macro view, because you want to see what you're competing against. You want to pretend this is the little kitchen table here and we'll go through this. If you don't know how to use this, this is exactly the way I use it. So y'all are going to hear it verbatim. And I know there's a class, I think Jordan teaches.
Jordan goes over market stuff every month.
Do you have a little pen? Can I see that pen?
Google
Do you mind?
Meet.
Right here. Yeah. And so I just need it for purpose.
prop.
For a prop. So I can see where I'm reading. All right, we know that this house, Stephanie, is between $400,000 and $450,000, right? So this is the bracket that we're going to be competing against. This is done on a weekly basis here at Keller Williams, so we know how to interpret the supply and demand in the marketplace. Can you see how that's important to you?
Yes.
Okay, so let's dive in. 4 to 450. There's currently 23 active listings available. That's our competition. A lot of houses, huh?
Yeah.
92 days is the average market time of these listings. I'm just going from left to right, each bracket. The average price is $426. Now, not necessarily what we're going to ask for your home, but again, I'm giving you an overview, a macro view of the market so we can get an idea of what we're getting ourselves involved in. Okay? 6 homes, in addition to these 23, have received an offer. So that means there's 29 signs in yards, 6 have gotten an offer, and they'll be going to the active sale in the next 30 to 45 days. So good news, there are some houses pending and there is some demand in the area. This here, I circle it. It's the pending ratio is 20%. Is currently under contract in the marketplace. That means 1 out of 5 homes are currently available for sale. What does that mean to you, Mr. Seller? I would like to see that number from selling a lot of houses in the area, and a decent demand is usually 1 out of 3. So we're a little bit soft right now on this price point, but again, I just want to set proper expectations so we know what we're getting involved in, okay? 8 homes have come off the market. I take my pen, I go at 8 homes, and I put a big X mark to show them we don't want to end up in that bracket, right? That is not a bracket we want to end up in. So it's just a little sales technique. Scratch it out. We don't want to end up there. And then I circle the box right to the right of it. It's the number of solds that have sold in the last 6 months. I would circle it because that's where we want to end up, right? And I'd always reiterate it with those downswings and tying them down. You do want to end up in the sold bracket, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 25, especially knowing you have to be there in 45
Yeah,
days,
right.
right? 80 days is the average market time. You said you need to be there in 45 days. What do you think that's telling us?
Well, it sounds like I'll be staying behind.
There's a possibility, or we could appropriately price the house aggressive enough to get it sold in that time frame. So that means we're going to have to be number 1 or 2 out of these 23 available properties to be the next one sold.
Right.
Okay, so not to say we're not going to sell it in 30 days, but we just need to talk about that so we're all on the same page. Original ask price of the sold listings were $435. Final asking price was $429. Do you know what that's illustrating there?
So does that mean that they have to drop the price?
Yeah, that's a possibility. We're going to start at a price. We may be a little bit over ambitious, but knowing your time frame, it sounds like time is more important than money. Is that correct?
I would say yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
We
Well,
just
we'll
leave
talk
that.
through that. Let's get some numbers together, and then we'll put a strategy around that to get you over there in 45 days, okay? So the list to sales price ratio from 4 to 450 in the zip code right now is about a 2% window. So good news, once we have it at the right price or the sweet spot, we'll attract a buyer that's going to play pretty close to the list price. So we're not going to have to negotiate far. So if we're talking $400,000, 2%, what's that, $8,000, $10,000 off list? So it's basically driving home the point that we don't need to price it at $500,000 if you're willing to take $400 for
Right,
it. because we're not gonna have to negotiate far, and we won't even get buyers to look at the house if we were priced at $500,000, okay? Last box, I circled the second leading indicator of the type of marketplace is the absorption ratio. I like to call this market velocity, Stephanie. It means how quickly homes would be bought up if not another home came on the market today. So at the current absorption ratio, there's 5.5 months. You're probably asking, what in the heck does 5.5 months mean to you, right?
Right.
Well, 3 months or less is a seller's market. That means there's less than 90 days of inventory. 4 to 6 is considered a balanced market. 6 or more is considered a buyer's market. So right now we're on the cusp of that buyer's market. So knowing that it's a little bit soft, we're really gonna have to dig into these numbers to make sure I can set it at a price that'll attract buyers and
So
get them
say
to the door.
that, so say that again, you're saying that if no other houses
Yeah.
came on the market and only these 23 sat there,
It would take 5.5
for
months.
those 23
Yeah,
to-
that's called
Right.
absorption ratio. I call it market velocity. How quickly would this be absorbed with the current demand of the number of houses? So 3 months or less is sellers, 4 to 6 is balance, over 6 is buyers. So can you understand how that could be important information for them so they can self-discover the importance? If time is very important to you and crucial, knowing the average market time is 80 days, we need to be extremely aggressive.
Yes.
You're either going to have to, go ahead.
Will you say that again?
Okay. All right. Okay. I know I'm talking fast. I'll slow down. Where's my wife? She's supposed to do this when I talk too fast. All right. The absorption ratio, Mr. Seller. I like to call this market velocity.
Right.
What it means, if not another home came on the market today, it would take 5.5 months for these 23 homes to be absorbed by the current real estate demand. Okay? What does that mean to you, Stephanie? I'm sorry, I was calling you Shelley. I was looking at Shelley. What does that mean to you? What it means is if it's 90 days or less, it's a seller's market. 4 to 6 months, it's a balanced market. Over 6 months, it's a buyer's market.
So we're just right on the.
Yeah, the cusp right
Yeah.
now. But the goal is to get you going in 45 days, right?
Yeah.
You see how I keep coming back to their motivation and their goals? I hit it 15 times during the presentation. I may even sound redundant, but we have to keep taking them back to what's important to you. Time, money, getting your family there, or staying here and being stuck with the kids. All right, now I go into the CMA. This is not a CMA class. We're not teaching you how to do this. I'm sure the office provides that information. What do you want to do with this? Do you want me to go? I don't want to go through this.
You don't need to.
Okay, let's just get to the
But
end
I
of
would
it.
explain that you say you.
Oh,
actually
now
do it
something
like you're
I
an
do a little bit
appraiser.
different. Yeah, I try to use more appraisal knowledge and selling thousands of homes in the area, getting an idea of what actual homes are adjusted by appraisals. A lot of realtors, nothing's bad with it. It gives you a baseline, go off price per foot. Price per foot is like the quick and dirty way to do it. But making slight adjustments for bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, any appraiser can get with you and help you determine those. It's going to give you a more accurate number, okay? Any questions about that? Am I boring people?
No.
Am I all right over there? Am I making sense to you, Greg? You're the appraiser guy. What do you have, man?
Is there a formula that we use when we add bedrooms and bathrooms, like a set amount of money?
Yeah, I usually do, depending on the price point, 5 to 10, sometimes even $15,000 adjustments. It's not going to be like a dollar amount that it would actually cost to rebuild. A replacement cost and what an appraiser is going to give you is two different things. Say you drop a $60,000 pool in the backyard. You're not getting $60,000 back. You might get $7,500. You might get $12,000 or $15,000 if it's a really elaborate pool. But you have to understand that's all in the eyes of the appraiser. It's all, you could have 10 different people look at the house and have 10 different numbers, but usually it's within 3 to 5% of each other. Do you have something to add to that, Greg? I thought I heard you say.
So, no.
His background's appraisals.
What I would do is, I had a spreadsheet, take the MLS and look at extract the difference. Because some pools were worth,
80 grand, yeah.
It could be 60,000, some of it might be 20. So
Correct.
It's the data of the neighborhood.
Yeah, and it just sort of differentiates yourself from every other Joe Blow realtor that's been in the house saying, oh, everything's selling for $150 a foot. Now that's a baseline, but we're trying to get really strategic about this thing to achieve your goals. So it's like going a step further. I just have used that probably over the last 10 or 15 years. And again, just selling a lot of houses, working on a lot of appraisals and being with, and knowing the importance of pricing the house right. 75% of your battle is pricing the home appropriately. You can't price it right, you can't sell it. No matter how beautiful it is, no matter how many bells and whistles it has, if it's not priced appropriately to the market.
It's confusing to me to add, like you have an extra bedroom or one less bedroom. I didn't know if there was a set amount.
That's we're
Yeah.
gonna get an appraiser in for a class.
That will help with a lot of that.
But we have one set up for August.
For your
Okay.
CMA, do you use just closed?
Oh,
houses
thank you,
or-
thank you. No, I use active, under contract, and sold properties. I may pull 3 sold properties. Sold properties is what's happened in the past. Pending is what's happening right now in the market. Active is your competition. So you want to look at a wide variety of that, especially with a shifting and changing market. We're in between sellers markets in some price ranges, buyers markets in other price ranges, and balance in others. So it's a good idea to have 4 or 5 comparables, one of which is at least a pending, 1 or 2 of which is an active, and 2 to 3 which are a, but I will take this back. You don't want to overload people with too much information. You want to make it quick, concise, and condense. Because too much information or too much talking, what happens when you talk too much and the appointment goes too long? Price goes up, commission goes down. My appointments typically run 30 to 45 minutes. Now, occasionally, if I have to connect with somebody, it might run over an hour. Or it's a big house, we have to do a lot of chat and stuff like that. I don't ever want to be in a house more than an hour. I don't want to overload people with information, but I do want to close them, with a end game here. Last 2 boxes here I would close for signatures after we talk about price. Here's how I do it. So are we comfortable with the sales price if we determine 425 is going to get you and your family there in the next?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, I'm super excited about this house. All we got to do now is simply sign the listing agreement, and then we can start putting the pieces in place. I'll go back through the house with a fine-tooth comb after we sign this paperwork, and we'll go. I have this cool little document here. It's called 47 Steps. I bring it out, helping the house sell quicker for more money. You think you can commit to doing the 4 or 5 things on that list before we send the photographer over here? Okay, well, let's just run through a couple documents. The documents I bring every time: customer information form, the dual agency disclosure, and the listing agreement. I don't bring, how do I do appointments in less than an hour? I don't bring every disclosure with me unless I'm going into a house that it's an elderly person or someone that needs a lot of assistance to walk through that. We can't really fill those out anyway, but sometimes you have to have that information there with you to go through, and then that'll extend your listing presentation probably 20 or 30 minutes because it takes time to go through all that. But those are the 3 documents I go over. I pull them out. We go over the customer information form first. I tell them what it is. Go over the dual agency agreement, and then I dive into the listing agreement. And I sign here, sign there. Done.
Cool.
And then the last thing is prepping the house for sale. Did you see how I led to that? After we sign the paperwork, we'll go back through the property, and we're gonna take a look at it through the eyes of a buyer with a fine-tooth comb, and strategically get everything in place so it screams value in the eyes of a buyer when we list it. Okay? That's it, guys. I did
How awesome was that?
it. All right.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any questions before I'm done?
For land,
Yeah, that's more challenging.
That's
I'd probably get an
that's a
appraiser.
different beast. We'll probably have to do a different person for that. All right, how's
Thank you,
everybody?
Louis.
I got it all in.